What is up, guys? Beancrew49 here. We are back on the Desolation map. And we find ourselves back in the ghetto. In the ghetto! I never get tired of that song. Yes, guys, we're back in the ghetto today. I want to get back to filling chests because, you know, I mentioned earlier this week that I want to get some YouTubers in here. I want to get you guys in here. I want to get my friends, my family, my countrymen, my community. I want them all to come here. We're going to play some PvP. Most notably, we're going to play some GTA mode and with the ghetto all filled out. So I've been on my ghetto grind these days, especially on these creative question of the week videos, trying to fill chests as much as possible. That's what I'm going to continue today. I didn't really finish Safe Lock. There's this house on Safe Lock property where the owners lived, and that's what we're going to fill today. We're also going to move into the abandoned warehouse. Both of these things were built by Solid MP15, and I'm going to fill them up as best as I can. So as I fill them up, you know, think, what would you find in an abandoned warehouse? What would you find in a house where people are living on the storage property? You know what I mean? Have you ever seen that storage units where, you know, there's a house there and the owner lives there so he can keep watch of his storage unit? I guess it makes the people who buy a unit there feel safer because there's always someone there living there, watching, listening, observing the eyes and ears of the storage units. I don't know why people are so protective of stuff they don't even want in their house. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna hide some stuff. Don't look at the good stuff where I put it, please. Okay, just close your eyes. That's all. I don't know why I keep showing this on camera. But anyway, while I do that in super fast motion, you'll probably realize that it's Monday today. Oh, what does that mean on Mondays? You guys know by now what Mondays means to me and what it means to you. It's Creative Question of the Week time. It's a part of the series where I answer questions that you put in the comment section. Oh, you guys are great with your comments. I love your questions. Keep sending them. Don't stop. Don't you ever stop. There's so many good questions, and it's whenever it's hard for me to choose a question that week, that means we got some good questions, and we got some good questions this week. I would like to see more, obviously. The more the better, the more the merrier. And if you have a question that you really want answered that hasn't been answered, ask it again, and we will get to that. Hopefully, at least I'll say why I can't answer it, maybe. All right. So today's creative question of the week comes from Ayilu TF2, who is Finn, and he's been asking a lot of questions about time, so it's time to indulge him. All right, his question is, do you think the manipulation of the space-time continuum for exploration experiment purposes will generate any sort of multi-dimensional impact? Because even though the higher dimensions aren't barely as affected by the effects of relativity as our own, it's all one shared space nonetheless. Finn, what the heck, man? It's an interesting question, definitely, and I'll do my best to try to answer this from my perspective. The first thing I want to say is I'm not an expert on what, you know, time, but I do have some insights into the nature of time that might surprise you. It might cause you to think of some new ideas, and that's what this is all about, sparking new ideas and new creative abilities. So I'm going to talk about time a little bit today and see where it takes us. I really don't know where this video is going to take us right now, so we'll see where it takes us. So the first part of his question is, do you think the manipulation of the space-time continuum for exploration experiment purposes will generate any sort of multi-dimensional impact? What I want to say to that is that there's no such thing as time in the universe. Okay? Time is an illusion. And the only place time really exists is on Earth. And the only reason it exists on Earth is because of our perception of it. The only reason we see things in terms of time is because that's how our senses are set up. Basically, what we're witnessing on Earth is just several different present moments occurring. It's the present, now, and now, and now, and now. It's always the present, but the nature of our senses makes it seem like there's a linear progression. And this is such a complex, I can't pretend to know about it, but I do know that time is not real. There is no time. Once you step out of the third density, which is the place that we're living now on Earth, this is the third density, and that just means that we perceive pretty limited things with our senses. We don't see all the light spectrum, we don't hear all the noise spectrum. If you think about it, our senses are extremely limited. Now, if you compare it to any other animal on Earth, then yeah, we have got great senses. Some have better than us in some respects, but we've got great senses compared to all the other animals on Earth, and that's why we've kind of risen to the status of that we have here on Earth compared to the animals. But once you compare human beings to entities from a higher dimension, then our senses are extremely limited, like extremely limited. We're like little ants compared to their perception of reality and their consciousness. So our consciousness is kind of small right now as a collective, and so we kind of see time as a linear progression of moment to moment. When that's not the case, everything is happening at the same time. Everything is all happening at once. And you leave Earth and that becomes pretty apparent. Now, why do we perceive time in this way? I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. It's something that I can't answer. Like, why do we perceive time in this way? It's kind of a strange thing where, you know, the rest of the universe perceives time in the way it is, non-existent, where we perceive it in this way. Perhaps we've been modified to think this way. Finn says, even though the higher dimensions aren't barely as affected by the effects of relativity as our own, it's all one shared space nonetheless. Yes. So Finn, if we were able to manipulate time here on Earth, I don't think any of the other dimensions would be affected because they're not affected by time. Time only plays a part in the third density when you don't have all the information. And I think that's kind of what it is. We don't have all the information. So it seems like to us that things are having a progression, a linear progression. But we don't have all the info. We can't see that things are happening all at once, that there is no past, there is no present. There's only the now. And in the now is all things and all possibilities occurring at once. And so that's something that's, you know, I think science is really struggling with that idea. And we're taking our Earth perceptions and trying to apply them to space. So that when you say, oh, the Big Bang happened such and such quadrillion years ago. No, you're just applying Earth mentality to something that's not earthly at all. Something that's not in this dimension even. And something that's not in this galaxy. Something that's so far out of our reach of comprehension. Why would we assume that Earth time relates to the Big Bang? The Big Bang happened and is happening and will happen now. It's happening now. And it's your senses that's confusing that perception of time. A lot of people talk about past lives and, you know, you think about history and it's things that have happened. But once you get into astral projection, astral travel, just meditation, then you kind of start to realize that your past lives are lives that are happening now. Your future lives are happening now, and your current life is happening now. It's all concurrent, and it's a very weird thing to step outside of your consciousness or your body and see things from a different perspective. And this is through meditation that this can be done, and through astral travel and astral projection. It's strange, man. And like I said, I can't even begin to like understand it truly. I'm just scratching the surface of kind of breaking away from my education. And I think what was that quote by Mark Twain about education? I wish I could remember it. It's such a great quote. Oh, dang it. But it's something about, you know, you begin your education once you start forgetting what you learned in school. It's something like that. Something like that. And that is so true. So true. School is, you're fed more lies than truth at school. And it's intentional. But that's another tangent. The other day I was meditating and I was in contact with an entity, and this entity gave me a quote, and it said, what did it say? It said, time is infinite and nothing all at once. So that's something to think about. Time is infinite. There's an infinite amount of time. It will never stop happening, time. But at the same time, there is no time. It's nothing. So I think that really think about that. That really makes you think, like, what is the nature of time? If it's infinite and nothing, isn't that a paradox? How can they both be true? But they can both be true because there's an infinite amount of present moment. Think about that. The present moment is infinite. It is always the present moment. Really think about that right now. It is always the present. There is no past. There is no future. People get so caught up in projecting their consciousness into the past or into the future. That's what humans do. We intentionally spend our time, right? Even though time doesn't exist, we spend our time not living in the present moment. We think about the way things went or the way things are going to go. And so we project our consciousness into some false reality that doesn't exist. The more you can place your consciousness, your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions in the present moment, the closer you will become to understanding the mysteries of the universe. The more you will have control over your life. The more happy and fulfilled you will become, because you're living in the only thing that's real, the present. So, like, let's say you're washing dishes. The tendency is to, you're washing dishes or you're doing something repetitive and your mind kind of drifts and wanders. And it goes off into some other place. It starts thinking about the future or starts thinking about the past. And you're not present with those dishes. But if you can really just slow down your breathing, the breathing is the way to do it. Just take a deep breath. Hold it for a while, then let it out slowly, and that'll just really ground you in the present moment. That'll bring you back to reality. And the more time you can spend in reality, like when you're washing the dishes, oh man, the more in touch with your inner self you will be. And the more in touch with your inner self, the more mysteries will be unlocked. And the better your life will be. Trust me. Trust me. A lot of pain and a lot of suffering comes when we dwell on the past. Oh, that didn't go the way I planned, or I had hoped, I got embarrassed, or I was a failure. And you think about that, but none of that has any effect on the present moment. You're bringing that energy of a different present moment into your current present moment. Something that doesn't belong there. It doesn't need to be there. So you're bringing this negativity. You're shifting timelines in a way. You're shifting the timeline, so you're bringing the negative present or the negative present that happened before to the present, right? And so it doesn't belong there. It doesn't need to be there. Same with the future. You're taking energy from a different present moment and bringing it to this present moment, and it's not helping you. It's causing you to forget who you are. It's causing you to dwell in energy that's not going to serve you. It has no effect on the present moment. So my advice for all of you is to spend as much time in the present moment as humanly possible. As humanly possible. And I always talk about this, but I can't stress enough the point of meditation. Meditation is the key to everything. It forces you to live in the present. It forces your consciousness into the present. And I can't even begin to tell you the benefits of what will happen if you live always in the present moment. It's hard. No one really does it, but there are people who strive to do it, and they spend the majority of their time in the present. They're not affected by the past. Those mistakes that happened before, they don't affect them. They don't bring those with them, or the worry and the fear and the doubt of the future doesn't affect them because they're in the present moment. So time is something that as a human being you really are going to have to try to manage, and a lot of people try to dominate it. They try to plan for the future so well that they can sit back on their present moment, or so they believe, or they try to dominate the past or whatever. They're trying to fight time when time is nothing. There is no time. Right? You're fighting nothing. You're just fighting yourself when you're trying to dominate the idea of time. So just live in the present. That's the only thing you can affect. That's the only thing that's real. That's the only power you have in your life, is affecting your current present moment. So you got to make the most of your present moment, because if you make the most of this present moment, you're going to bring that to the next present moment, and you're going to make that next present moment even a little bit better, and you're going to bring that into your next present moment, and it gets better and better and better. But if you're going to allow that negative idea or negative thought or emotion to affect your present moment, then you're going to take that with you into your next present moment, and your next present moment is not going to be as good. And in that way, you kind of make your future not very good, right? That's how you make your future not as good as it could be by not living in the present and bringing past energies into the present moment. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. I'm making perfect sense to myself, okay? But I don't know if this is making sense to any of you. I would like to start a discussion on this in the comment section if you guys want to talk about it. I know this is very complex ideas, but not really. Not really. Once you have the knowledge that there is no time, I think a lot of these things become clearer, and a lot of these things make sense, and you can start to see in your life how time is not really having an effect on you as you would think. And it doesn't have to. You can control it. It's for instance, if you're having a lot of fun, time passes quickly. If you're having a terrible time, time goes slowly. And all it is your perception is changing. The actual, overall perception of time doesn't shift. It's your perception of it. So you have all the power, is what I'm trying to say with this. You have all the power to control time. Did you know that? You should. Now you do. Okay. I want to thank Finn for asking that question. I know he's been asking a lot about that for a while, and I haven't gotten to his question, but I'm happy to answer it this time. So thank you to Finn. Thank you to everyone who put a comment in the comment section below. This past week has been great for comments. You guys have helped me so much. I just want to say thank you a lot, and hopefully I'm going to use a lot of your comments and try to move forward into the present. That's also the future. All right. So thank you guys for all your supports and your likes and your shares and your comments. And, let's start a discussion about this. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. Happy Minecrafting. Peace.